May all graces of all Buddhas, Mahabuddhas, all the great perfections, all the embodiments of the great perfections, all the Buddha seeds, the great gurus, great masters, Pacceka Buddhas, Mahapacceka Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Mahabodhisattvas, all the fully enlightened ones, the Arahants, the Maha-Arahants, the grace of fathers and mothers of all lifetimes, the grace of Luang Por Posi Surya Khemarato, please preside over. We would like to declare renunciation and revocation of all deluded desires and expectations within the worldly habits, worldly matters, spiritual habits, spiritual matters, all the add-ons with sensual pleasures in sounds, smells, tastes, touches, and shapes, all the projections in the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. We would like to declare removal and cancellation of all vengeance, revenges, all the harbor thoughts to get back to someone, all the resistance to forgive, to whom one has the hatred for. We would like to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within all worldly practices and spiritual practices, for mindfulness, concentration, contemplations, meditative absorptions, meditative power, wisdoms, intelligence, smartness, stupidity, special insights, supernatural power, authoritative powers, and the enjoyment to feed one's own satisfaction or dissatisfaction, liking, disliking, right or wrong, true or false, good and bad or neutral, equanimity, stillness, indifference. We would like to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within looking, seeing, knowing, acknowledging, tasting, touching, listening, hearing, smelling, tasting, with all desires, delusive attachments, and delusions, unable to help unwind from all intentions, from all projections, unable to help unwind for all beings in the samsara, and for the leftover of projections of the minds in natural elements of earth, air, water, and fire. And we would like to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within all types of relationships, in the families, fathers, mothers, husbands and wives, sons and daughters, friends and relatives, ancestors, those kind supporters, society small and large, nations, homelands, countries, living places, global connections, and within all the elements of earth, air, water, and fire. We would like to declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within the cycle of birth, old age, sickness, and death, and all the perseverance to sustain and maintain this cycle, trying to control it, wanting and desire and crave for longevity, and using all efforts and strive for it, which is itself the suffering, which is itself the cause of suffering. Let's declare removal and cancellation of all this fixation and all the concepts and ideas, methods and ways to strive for it, trying to grasp the ungraspable. Let's declare removal and cancellation of all deluded desires and expectations within all values given to all this cycle and the purpose of life, which is constantly changing. All the belief, values, disbelief, traditional values, concepts, ideas, thoughts, recalls, memories, doctrines, dogmas, religions, opinions and meanings that don't purify themselves. May we humbly ask for forgiveness for all cases of karma of rejecting the words of the graces of the Buddhas, of the enlightened ones, ignoring their blessing, ignoring their words to help unwind for samsara. Instead, using one's own opinions and meanings to interpret wrongly, grasping their words, creating and fabricating it by one's own opinions, creating methods and ways, grasping for methods and ways, trying to achieve that which is unachievable. Enlightenment is not enlightenment. Achievement is not achievement. May all karma of chasing those with great misfortune to be far away from the graces, far away from the noble truth declared by the graces in any Buddha era. And all cases of ignoring, not listening, turning away from the noble truth, from the words of the graces, from helping the graces to help end for samsara. May all cases of karma of hurting and harming one another be ended and be forgiven. May we also declare forgiveness for all beings, for those who harm us. May we declare ahosi for those doers. and ahosi for the ahosi itself. When our heart is not open yet to forgive the doers, the one who committed hurt and harm to us, to receive the forgiveness from us forever and ever. And may we also ask forgiveness for all those victims who have been hurt and harmed and still have resentment and distress. May it be removed from their hearts and soul. May everything be forgiven from now on and forever. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. And may all the misleading others with all the black magic, hurting and harming with black magic, with the power of meditation, of concentration, of mindfulness, of contemplation, be removed and be forgiven. May all those that try to use control, mental control to anyone, be forgiven. By all means of using the objects of consecration, propaganda, spells, through any propagandas, any advertisements, whether it is spiritual or worldly, may it be removed and forgiven. Ahosi, ahosi, ahosi. Anything that is used by the mind, by the power of the mind, it is a power. If that power is used in the wrong way, with desire, delusion, and delusive attachment, to grasp, to get, to gain, to obtain, to attain, to achieve anything from anyone, it is harmful. The projection of the mind is like a spell. It also has frequencies. So don't throw away such a spell to each other. Any projection is like a spell. It has impact. It has frequencies. And frequencies means weight, heaviness. This is like a consecration. And there are those who do spiritual consecration. But it's a misleading. We have to step back to the origins of everything. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with consecration or not. Before anything, before the mind to rely on anything, there is nothing. It's not about relying or not relying. So when someone uses a tool for the mind to rely on, the mind gets the habit. There is no freedom there anymore. It's always conditioned. So for eons of times, the mind has been used as a habit like that. It is like a consecration. Which is misleading itself. It is elusive, deluded to that which is an object or the tool to rely on. And there are those who make up, fabricate an object that they consecrate, reciting some mantras, some words to create an object for the mind to rely on, saying that it will protect you from all evils or harms or whatever. This is a propaganda in itself. It's misleading, it is creating causes of suffering. And it is the suffering itself. Whether it is in the form of talismans, amulets, or whatever symbols, if it is not to help cut through immediately for the mind, to not continue itself and branching out, then it is the purpose of karma. Causes of suffering, causes of karma, and it is the suffering itself. This kind of consecration has been done for ages already. May it be forgiven. May it be liberated. May it be removed from its distortion of power. Let's open beyond opening. Nothing is in anything, and scatter it into universes. In all those objects, towards all those objects, and brighten out, dissolve all types of distortion of powers by the infinite force, which is from the great compassion. Not about grasping or non-grasping. Not about involvement or non-involvement. Everything, everything, everything is totally opposite to projection, consecration, propagandas, advertisements, and all purposes of grasping and taking and consuming and feeding with desires, delusion, and delusive attachments. This infinite force, which has nothing to do with being limited or unlimited, will dissolve all that sort of spells that has been happening among each other, among the beings in the samsara. That have practiced for ages. The infinite force will dissolve all that karma. It will unlock such a karma for all beings. Declaration of renunciation and revocation, removal and cancellation of all spells, consecrations of all objects and tools, paths towards liberation of suffering, paths, methods and ways for any achievement. That is desires, delusive attachment and delusions that has driven the mind to grasp for whatever purposes it had been setting up. To get, to gain, to have, to be, to become. Let's open up beyond opening. Awaken out of the awakening. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with grasping or not grasping, engaging or disengaging, attachment or non-attachment or detachment. So in order to cancel all the grasping mind, we need reminders. Everything is from that which has nothing to do with anything. Nothing is in anything. Scatter it into universes